What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to show you how Facebook retargeting generates purchases of our course sales for less than half the cost. I'm going to show you all of the ways in which you can retarget people using Facebook, because there's a number of ways in this video. If you haven't subscribed already, consider subscribing, because I drop digital marketing content every single week just like this, and you don't want to miss out. What's up, everybody? Eric Preston here, and I help realtors and entrepreneurs level up their businesses online with paid advertising. Now, in today's video, we're going to talk all about Facebook retargeting, one of my favorite subjects and one of the most interesting pieces of online marketing today, because there's a lot of people curious about this, but they're not sure how to actually execute. So I'm going to show you how to actually execute this stuff. And by the way, everything I teach has been either done by myself and my team, my online course students, or my agency clients. So this is coming from a good place. Now, I'm going to go over how retargeting works, but the first step to retargeting generally is installing your Facebook pixel. So I'm going to link to a video here. If you haven't installed your Facebook pixel, that means your website is not connected to your ad account, and you can't track who's been to your website, and you can't retarget them. So that's one thing you're going to want to do, but a pixel is not the only way you can retarget people. You can retarget people who watch your videos. You can retarget people who visited your Instagram page. You can retarget people based on a list of people that you upload into Facebook. There's lots of stuff you can do, and I'm going to get to it all in this video. Now remember, retargeting is all about staying front of mind. Oftentimes when you're advertising online, you're advertising to a cold audience, right? So you want to make sure that you understand that people that see your ads are seeing you for the first time. They don't know anything about you. And oftentimes it takes several times for them seeing you and your content for them to actually make a move on calling you, becoming a lead, making a purchase from you. Rarely do people just do it as a cold audience. So retargeting is super important to stay front of mind. And depending on what industry you're in, retargeting is going to have different values and benefits. So I mostly work in real estate, and what happens in real estate is there's people that are searching for homes, and retargeting services the purpose of, when they sign up on your website as a lead and you start reaching out to them, they have no idea who you are, and they may not respond to you. But if they keep seeing your retargeting ads, whether that be listings or market updates or lead generation objectives like giving away free content, free PDFs, all that kind of stuff, at some point, they're going to start to trust you a little more than they did initially when they sign up on your website as a lead. So retargeting serves the purpose similar to how a monthly newsletter does, or an email drip campaign. It's about staying top of mind and establishing rapport and establishing trust, because at the end of the day, people only work with you if they know, like, and trust you. So retargeting is all about getting people to know, like, and trust you in a more effective way. So now let's get into how to actually do it. All right, guys, first things first with retargeting, how I always like to start this subject is by giving you a case study or example. Now, this is very, very common for my business. Just to tell you a little bit about my business right now, or my main business anyway, is we have an online course that services realtors. We are realtors ourselves, and we had success in our business by generating leads online and converting them online. Now, we turn that around and we actually teach realtors how to do this for themselves, because we both have digital marketing backgrounds, so we were able to teach it in a really effective way. Now, when we're selling our online course, we're selling it through a webinar funnel. So what we're doing is we're running ads on Facebook, and mind you, for this specific course, we've spent over $50,000 in advertising. Now, basically how it works is we run ads saying, hey, here's how you can generate all these leads online yourself, right? So that's what we teach, is how to run your own online lead generation so you don't have to pay another company to do it for you. Now, obviously, there's some people that want to pay another company and don't want to get invested in the DIY stuff, but there's a part of the market that does. So we sell a course to teach them how to run their own Google ads, their own Facebook ads, and their own YouTube ads, okay? So that's what we focus on, is paid advertising. So this is really our bread and butter and what we do. Now, when we're selling our course, we're running basically ads on Google, on YouTube, on Facebook, and they're all directing to a webinar. Now, the webinar adds a ton of value, and we talk about online marketing and all the things you need to understand. And then at the end, it gives you an option to purchase our course, okay? So that's kind of a little bit about how we're selling our course. Now, there's a couple different types of ads we run. The first ones are usually like to a cold audience. So there'll be something like, we're using lookalike audiences. If you're not familiar with them, I'm not going to go into them in this video, but they're basically Facebook's algorithm using previous leads you've generated to find more people who are like those leads. It's really cool. Now, essentially what we're doing here is we're running cold ads to say, hey, do you want to learn how to generate your own leads online? Hop on our webinar. We're going to teach you. Okay. Now, what happens with that is people will watch our webinar, and a lot of times they will not purchase at the end of the webinar. So what's important with retargeting is you want to retarget people with something that, you got to think the process through depending on your business, is what's going to make sense for people who've watched my webinar but didn't buy to see. Well, one of the biggest and best things you can do for an online course is use video testimonials, right? As a way to remarket to people who've watched your webinar, because they may almost be convinced, but maybe they're not fully convinced. So showing them testimonials is a great way to get them a little more convinced. Now, we always offer a 30-day money-back guarantee with our course because we want to make sure people are, getting what they want out of it. But I just want to show you some results here. So this is our kind of cold audience ad. Now, this is I'm just showing you these two ad sets as a good example because this is a pretty standard result here. So you'll see that with our cold audience, our cost per purchase is about $3.99, okay? That's a pretty typical cost per purchase. Now, our course is of $9.97 US, so that's a good return on your investment. That's a 3.3 return on ad spend, so that's pretty good. But when we factor in retargeting into the mix, our cost per purchase actually goes way down because we're dealing with a warm audience who's already seen our offer, and we're retargeting to them with testimonials. So what we'll do is we'll take student testimonials and we'll layer them into this ad set, okay? And as we get new testimonials, we'll keep putting in new testimonials so they're fresh, and there's a variety of them to cycle through, and we're just retargeting everyone who's watched our webinar. And what happens is our cost per purchase goes from roughly $400 to roughly $150, okay? Now, these are just numbers from two ad sets in the last little while, but those numbers are usually pretty consistent. So our return on ad spend had gone from 3.3 to 7.04, right? So you get a much better return on your investment. This is the piece a lot of people are missing with their online marketing is they're just doing the cold audience stuff. They're not actually retargeting people in an effective way. So I'm going to get into how to actually do this, don't worry. But in a real estate context, because I know a lot of you out there will be realtors, what you would want to do is you send traffic to your website through Google Ads. Google Ads generally creates a higher quality lead, higher quality traffic, because there's some premeditation behind when people go into Google and they search homes for sale in Vancouver and they click on your ad. They've already gone through a bit of a process, right, to determine that, they might be interested in buying or selling a home. Now, like I said before, they're not always going to sign up as a lead right away. About 10% of traffic usually converts, 10 to 15% if it's good, from Google. So that means like of every 100 people you send to your website that click on your Google ad, there's 85 to 90 of them that didn't convert into a lead. So that's where Facebook retargeting is really powerful, is when you can start retargeting that traffic with more brand awareness type ads, more ads for market updates, for listings, for open houses, for free PDFs, for some kind of offer for a custom list of homes. Like I won't get into it now, but I have another video I will link here that will go into actual ads on Facebook that work in 2021. But I want to talk about just specifically how to actually do retargeting in this video. So basically that's how it would work, is you're building trust and rapport and brand awareness, because as a cold audience, people aren't going to want to work with you. They want to see you all over the internet for a while in order to trust you and really come to see you as an authority in your space. So that's a really important point to make. Now, let's actually get into how to do this. So what you're going to go to is facebook.com/ads manager, as you'll see up here. I have a business account, so mine's business.facebook.com/ads-manager. And that's when you're going to get into this back end here of Facebook. Now, if I go over here, I'm just going to see kind of more or less my dashboard for the last little while. Now, what you're going to want to do when we're talking about retargeting, this is a really important point, is that retargeting is all about building audiences, okay? So normally in Facebook, when you go to target someone, you're targeting them based on their location, their age, their gender, their interests, their demographics, whatever. With retargeting, you're targeting, and so you're creating audiences based on those factors. But with retargeting, you're creating an audience around people who've taken specific actions in the past. Now, there's two ways to access Facebook's retargeting features, okay? The simplest way is go through the ad creation process. So say I go, I want to choose a conversion ad as my campaign. I go continue. And then next, when I get into the ad set, so I can hit next down here at the bottom. You might not be able to see this. But I hit next in the bottom right, and then I go into my ad set. Now, in the ad set, when you go down to the audience section, and you see create new audience, you can see custom audience, okay? So you can just hit create new custom audience. So this is what you're going to do instead of targeting by location, age, gender, detailed targeting. You're going to go create new and you're going to go custom audience, okay? This is retargeting here. This is literally what retargeting is on Facebook. Now you can choose to build an audience, a retargeting list based on your website traffic. So again, if you want to build an audience on website traffic, then you need your pixel installed. You cannot backtrack and it cannot scrape data from people who visited your website in the past. It's only since the day you install your pixel. Now again, I have another video where I have installed, I'll show you how to install a Facebook pixel. You can find that on my channel if you haven't done that already. Now there's a number of other ways you can do this. You can do a customer list. So you can actually upload a list of people into Facebook and run ads to them. Now there's a few things you need to know around this. Now I'm actually going to link to something I've created. It's a template that you can fill out to upload your leads into Facebook. Okay. Now I've made that template really simple and effective. Facebook's template I find is convoluted and complicated. I've simplified it down for you. So I'm going to leave a link to that template in the description. Now, what you need to understand about a customer list is what Facebook's going to do is they're going to take a list of people that you've uploaded and you're going to upload it in a very specific structured way, like first name, last name, phone number, country, state, zip code, any information you have. The more information you give Facebook, the higher likelihood that they can match your information with a Facebook user, okay? If they have different emails and you don't put in the state or the country, it's unlikely that Facebook's going to confidently match your list to that person. So there's something called a match rate. So if you upload 100 people and you get a match rate of 50, you actually only uploaded 50 people. Now, in order to do this, you need, to make it worth it, with any retargeting, you need a minimum audience size of 100. Your ad will not run without an audience size of 100. So don't even think about retargeting if your audience is 100 people. Like, it's not even worth it. You need to have thousands and thousands of people to work with for retargeting to be actually effective. So when you're uploading a customer list, if you have a database of like 6,000, great. Upload it into Facebook. You might only get 3,000 people matching on your list, but hey, you still have a list of 3,000 people. So when you go in here to customer list, you'll see that it'll say prepare your list, and then you can go next, and you can actually upload a list, and it'll say download list template here. But again, I will link you to a better one that I use, and you can just copy that from Google Drive. But that's how you upload a list. And then when you go back into the custom audiences section, when you create an ad, you can click over to custom audience and you can find your list. So like we uploaded one a little while ago called, I think, master contact list, September 22nd. So like we uploaded our list. Now it's not going to tell you how big this list is. It's not going to tell you. That's a new privacy thing Facebook introduced last year, where it's not going to tell you how big the list is. In the past, it used to actually say how many it is. But you can use your judgment. If you choose that list, Facebook will say estimated daily results, up to 208. If you increase your budget, it'll say a little bit more. You can estimate sometimes what your actual list size is. But anyways, let's go back here and talk about a little bit of everything else. So that's a list and your website. There's other simple ways you can do retargeting without any list, without any pixel being installed. But before I get into those, I just want to show you really quickly how you might use the pixel. So if you click on website, then what you're going to do is you're going to select your pixel, and then you can choose a variety of options. You can do, and for most of you, this is all you're ever going to do, is you're going to do all website visitors in the past 180 days. 180 days is the maximum amount of time you can go back to actually retarget people. Maximum time 180 days. Most of you, this is all you're going to do for your website traffic. I'm going to retarget all website visitors in the last 180 days. If you're in e-commerce, you might be doing something like this. You might go initiate checkout in the last 180 days, and those are going to be people on your website. Now, this is if you have your pixel installed properly and these events are triggering and working, and I'll go over that in my pixel video. But you can run say a 20% off, ad to people who've initiated checkout but haven't purchased, okay? Now, another thing you can do is you can exclude people. So if I was doing this, I could exclude people who've purchased. So for us, we sell an online course, so we actually do this. I target people who've done initiate checkout but haven't purchased. So we do ads like that. So you can exclude people who've purchased in the last 180 days, but target everyone who's initiated checkout in the last 100 days. But again, I'm going to reiterate, if you don't have 100 initiate checkouts at least, and those people are actively on Facebook using it or Instagram, your ad's not going to run. So don't worry about doing this straight away, this kind of granular stuff. What you're generally going to do right away is all website visitors and just run retargeting ads to keep warming up your audience with new content. And you should have a strategy behind this, but a lot of times at first, you're just going to put up ads that you think are going to be relevant to your audience. Usually they're going to have a call to action. They're going to send people back to your website or whatever it is, maybe download a free PDF, something, but you don't always know what ads are going to be the most successful. So it's all about testing. So that's how you use the pixel. Basically, you can do like, all website visitors in the last, something like that. You could do all, so our leads is complete registration. Then you could do leads and initiate checkout. So you can include both of those, right? Or you can exclude people. So that's just something to note. Now, basically, that's how you do basic retargeting for your pixel, for your website. So pretty simple stuff. And again, most of you are just going to do all website visitors. So let's go back and let's get into the more fun stuff with retargeting. Now, this is where you don't need a pixel. You don't need a customer list. You can actually use on Facebook sources, okay? So one of the most common ones that you are going to want to run today is using your Instagram account. So you can select Instagram and you can choose your Instagram page, and then you can choose everyone who's engaged with my account in the last year, or anyone who even visited your account in the last year. So this is a good one. Then you can run ads to these people. So this is really cool if you focused on building your Instagram profile and you want to actually run ads to increase engagement, to increase sales, to increase website traffic, whatever it is. You can run ads to people who have visited your profile, who've engaged with a post, anything like that. I wouldn't really do saved a post or sent a message, especially in the early stage, because your audience, again, is not going to be at least 100 people. So you could just do everyone who's engaged with your account. Easy. It'll keep it simple. Anyone who's engaged or visited or anything like that in the last year. And again, keep retargeting simple, especially in the beginning. If you're a newer advertiser, don't let this get all confusing for you. If you're running an e-commerce store and you have an Instagram account, you might just run anyone who's engaged with our account. You might run a new video you just launched. You might run our new promotion to these people. And these are a warm audience, so you should spend a little bit more money on those people than a cold audience, right? So that's an interesting one. You can do the same thing with a Facebook page, okay? Anyone who's engaged with your Facebook page, exact same thing as Instagram. You can also do people who have attended an event or responded interested or going to an event. So for some of you that do event stuff and you did an event on Facebook and say you had like a few thousand people who clicked interested, you can run an ad to those people after the event. So sometimes this is a good strategy, is if you run an event and you have a product at the end of that event, you can run a retargeting ad to those people who clicked interested on your event, right? Pretty cool. Another thing with lead generation, if you're doing lead generation and you know about lead generation ads, you'll know that when people click on the ad, it'll pop up a little lead form, right? And then in that lead form, people's information will already be filled out, and they're going to either hit submit or they're going to hit back, and they're not going to fill out your lead form. Now, this is really cool. You can actually target anyone who's opened the form but didn't submit it in the past 90 days. So if you're doing a big lead generation campaign, maximum time for this is 90 days. So if you're doing a big lead generation campaign, then this is a great retargeting ad to actually run, because people opened your form, so they showed some interest, but they didn't submit it. So you could run a new ad to them to try to get them to submit their information again. And you can select specific forms that you created. So if you know how retargeting works, if you know how lead generation ads work, when you do a lead generation ad, you create a specific form. So you might create a specific form for a specific lead magnet, and you can run a retargeting ad for just people who opened that form but didn't submit it. So again, I'll reiterate, there's going to be a lot of you out there who've done stuff like this, but you don't have, at least 100 people in your audience to work with. So it doesn't make sense for you to do that. So most of you aren't going to get this granular. You're going to keep it very generic. But let me show you one that I love. Now, this is video. Now, you can actually retarget people who've watched a certain amount of your video. So you can say people who viewed 3, 10, 15, 25%, 15 seconds, by the way, 25%, 75, or 95% of your video. So oftentimes what you'll do is say people who watched at least 10 seconds of my video. Now, this could be a video ad. It could be a video you posted on your Facebook page. It could be anything. So like this video here has 66,000 views, right? I can retarget people who've watched half of that video. It's only 40 seconds. So I can go, I'm going to retarget people or I could do 10 seconds here, or I could say people who watch 50% of my video, and I'm just going to select that ad video, and then I'm going to run a new ad to those people who've watched 50% of that video. Now, I know that audience is going to be huge. There's probably going to be like, 20,000 people in that audience, which is well enough to run a good retargeting ad. So that's a good option. You can also select more than one video. So you can say, I'm going to select all of my ad videos that I've ran in the last little while and all the people that have engaged with or watched them, right? So pretty cool stuff. I just wanted to go into really like kind of a shallow overview of kind of how retargeting works. There's always going to be a strategy behind what you're doing. So I might take, people who've watched this video and run a photo image to them of promoting my webinar, because they might have watched like part of the video and all they need is another photo to click on to go to my landing page and sign up for their webinar, right? Because if they've watched 50% of my video, I was able to stop them in their tracks enough. So you got to always think about the psychology behind it. I was able to stop them in their tracks in their newsfeed and actually watch 20 seconds of my video, but then they kept scrolling for some reason, right? So really, really important. You can also do fun stuff like this is say I wanted to do 50% of people who've watched this video in the last 365 days. So I would go add video 365, 50%, right? So I'd create this audience. Now what I would do is I'm going to target people who've engaged with this video, right? But what you can also do is you can exclude an audience after that. So I might want to exclude complete registration, lead in complete registration 180. So what this is doing here, to give you a practical example, is I'm targeting people who've watched 50% of this video in the last year, and I'm excluding people though who've already taken action and signed up for my webinar. So that's like a more practical example of how you might do retargeting in any sense of the form, because my goal of this is still to get people to sign up as a lead, right? So anyway, that's really it. Retargeting is all about creating custom audiences and creating groups of people to run ads to in a nutshell. People get really confused with retargeting, but it's actually really simple. You just go create new custom audience. So this is one place you can do your retargeting. The next place is if you go over to business tools on the left-hand side, you can actually look at audiences here, go into audiences, and that's where you'll actually find all of your audiences. And you can create them in here as well. You don't have to create them right in the ad process. So you'll see that audience I just made is right here. So I can go create audience, custom audience, okay? Now to take that to the next level, so same thing, you'll get the exact same dashboard here. So to take that to the next level, you can do something called lookalike audiences. Now lookalike audiences are not retargeting, it's a totally different thing. So what a lookalike audience is you can select a source audience. So say I wanted to select other sources, and I wanted to select all pixel traffic 180 days. So this is everyone who's been to our website in the last 180 days. I can also do, here's a good one, checkout or purchase 180. So I can take everyone who's been to our website, and this is how we run all of our ads now, is check anyone who's been to our website and gone to initiate checkout or purchased our program. And I can say, okay, I want Facebook, I want you to find 1% of the population who are most closely related to those people, okay? And what will happen is these audiences are dynamic. So anytime new people come in and they initiate checkout or they purchase, it'll keep updating this audience, and it'll keep giving Facebook more data to use its algorithm to find people who have similar interests, similar professions, similar hobbies, all that kind of stuff, to show our ads to. And these ads work the best if you can execute them properly. But again, you need an audience of at least 100 people to create a lookalike audience. And even if you only have 100 people, it's not going to create the strongest lookalike. You generally want to have like 500 or more people to create a strong lookalike audience. So that's lookalike audiences. That's kind of taking things to the next level. And when you go back to the ad account, you're actually going to see that you can use a lookalike audience just like you can a custom retargeting audience, okay? So, all right, guys, that wraps up today's retargeting video. I hope you learned a lot and you can actually take this knowledge and implement it for your own business. As always, smash that like button if you enjoyed this content and hit the dislike button if you didn't. Any feedback at the end of the day helps me create better content for you. If you're interested in more stuff like this, smash that subscribe button and the little bell so you don't miss the videos I drop every single week around subjects related to online marketing. Now, if you want to take this training to the next level, feel free to check out one of these 2 videos. I'm going to link up here. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. I'm a pretty approachable guy, so leave a question in the comments. I will respond to them. It's my life goal to respond to every single YouTube comment ever. So make sure that you do that, and I'm happy to engage with you. And at the end of the day, guys, this knowledge means nothing if you can't go out and implement it. So feel free to implement it if you're a realtor. Feel free to join my Facebook group, Real Estate Marketing Mastery. That's a great place to connect and mastermind. And if you're not, a comment section down below is a great place to do it too. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.